Good afternoon. This is Patrick Tomlinson for Reflections. Today I have with me Reverend Dillon, very important individual in the development of black businesses here in Brooklyn and New York. So thank you, Reverend Dillon, for appearing with us.
It's a pleasure.
Any few words you'd like to leave with us to tell our audience what you're about, the things you're doing, for those who don't know you?
Well, I think the main thing right now is the need for us as black people in America, as African people, to really begin to journey back to our, what I call dormant power, and resurrect it. We are the most powerful people on the planet. When you reflect upon Africa as a continent, when you consider the fact that the continent of Africa has almost all of the world's natural resources in tremendous abundance. We're talking oil, we're talking diamond, we're talking ivory, we're talking gold, we're talking cocoa, we're talking cashew, we're talking lumber, we're talking rubber. You name it, it's there. Unfortunately, we've not effectively harnessed the natural resources on the continent, and we have not effectively linked with the kind of economic consumer power that we Africans in America represent. And again, you know, blacks in America, $1.75 trillion in spending power. That's been dormant. We've been making everybody rich, and we're saying, let's begin to rotate that, because at the end of the day, to whom you give your money is to whom you give your power.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Reverend Dillon, for very powerful words, and thank you for putting together a very, very splendid conference.
Well, bless you. It's my pleasure.
God
bless you.
The reason why we are here, we are here to talk about Africa. And when we talk about Africa, somebody said something very profound this week. That was Assemblyman Walter Mosley. He was doing an event here in Brooklyn. He said, we cannot talk about black history and just end at Martin Luther King. We have to go back home. We have to connect with Africa. Where is Queen Zinga? You know, we don't talk about Queen Zinga. All those queens, those kings, who is talking about them? So we have to really come out of, I am African American, we are Africans. Right? That's who we are. So, and Africa is in us, no one can take it away. So the reason why we are here to talk about, not to talk, but to also come up with concrete action plans. It has to go beyond talk. I don't do talk shows. Anything that just talks, I am away. I go away. Because it does not help me, it does not help the people. We are here to save Africa. It's not about what I can get out of here, it's about what can I give. And what you give, resources will follow. So that's how we are going to move. So Africa has got resources. We know why the colonialists, the colonizers went into Africa. It was for the resources. It was about Africa, the power that Africa carries. We carry the power, intellectual power, we have it. Resources, we have them. But why is that we have not been able to do Africa? You know, why are things going the way they are going? I hear people talking about politics, but if there's any politics that we are going to talk about that can stop investors, it's the politics at P45 in this land. So Africa, you know, the investment gap, we are talking of over $100 billion US every year that is required to close the investment gap for Africa. Of course, 45% or 50% is covered by government, but there is space for private sector. Right? Where are those opportunities? Affordable housing, there's an urban migration, people coming from rural areas in pursuit of economic opportunities into the cities. There are no housing units here enough to cater for those people. So housing projects, where are they? So in this room, we are going to focus on 3 countries. We are going to focus on Nigeria, we are going to focus on South Africa, and of course Zimbabwe. Right. So where are the opportunities in those countries? I like the Amazon of Africa. Let's not let's not even call it Amazon. Let's change the name.
No, we have a name. It's a name.
Okay, let's for now, it's the door e-commerce. Right. How are we going to support that brilliant initiative? We know there is Jumia. Jumia, they did a very excellent job. They listed on the New York Stock Exchange, the first black e-commerce company to list on the stock exchange in New York. But then there are some things that are happening there. How do we go into Jumia and also help them? Whilst we are also bringing up the e-commerce for the law, how do we start connecting? Jeff Bezos is already thinking Africa. Everybody's thinking Africa. And we are just here talking. We have to do something, and that's why we are here. And I just want to thank you for coming. We are going to talk key opportunities. We are going to talk concrete action plans about how we are going to deliver economic, how we're going to help Africa rise. Gold, 50% or more of the global gold output is coming out of Africa. More than 60% of diamonds coming out of Africa. I always say, Switzerland does not make chocolates. Chocolates are made by Africa because without cocoa, you can't have chocolates. But then, we are exporting the raw cocoa out of Africa. And we are creating 40-something thousand jobs in Switzerland instead of creating the jobs in the continent and on the continent. So we want to talk about industrialization. We want to talk about manufacturing. That's what we want to talk about. Yes.
Coming from an agricultural perspective, my focus is to empower the local community by creating micro jobs and micro business. So that initiative not only empowers the country, but it uplifts the lives of people within the community. So, that's my main focus. I want to go into 3 countries in Africa. Okay, I would like to go into South Africa, which is currently in the works. We need to work out some detail, which is all about money. I'd like to go into Zimbabwe or Nigeria. And I would like to go into Kenya. Because those 3 regions can actually supply product to the whole continent of Africa. And not only will it supply the products to the people, it will employ farmers who will grow things organically, non-GMO, and the way that we will incorporate other business into it, instead of us milling our products, we would use milling companies that are already established to refine the products that the farmers grow, that would send it to our refineries to process and make the flour and the meal that could be distributed to the people. So you're talking about creating just one factory alone can create 5,000 jobs. So you're talking about 5,000 jobs in South Africa, 5,000 jobs in Nigeria, and 5,000 jobs in Kenya. So the concept is there, but it requires money.
My name is Ruby Roberts, and I am with Comfy Space Inc. We provide residential.
The name of the company?
Say that again?
The name of the company?
Comfy Space. Comfy. We provide residential and commercial services to the greater New York area. Services include cleaning, organizing, decluttering, interior design, and anything else you don't feel like doing in your homes or offices. Give me a call if you or anyone in your circle needs our service. Thank you.
Are there opportunities in what you do for other, business to participate in an investment partnership franchising partnerships, anything in that area, or just services that you guys provide?
As of this juncture, just the services. I am considering franchising somewhere down the road, but not just yet.
So, the key is right after, folks, we can get everybody's information and know who everybody is, so the connections can begin.
Good afternoon. My name is William Lake, L-A-K-E. I am from the other Caribbean, the Dutch Caribbean to be exact. That Caribbean. And
What country would that be?
Curaçao. Curaçao. With lots of St. Martin roots in between. Well, what I do here is that we started a business. It's called Lagoon Web Managers. And Lagoon is the Dutch word for lake, and a few other things like that. But what we do, we have about 2,500 websites under management at this point. And my customers have a lot of interest in all kinds of things. And one of the things they're interested in, and this hits Nigeria directly, is having an online store that sell designs from Nigeria, clothing designs from Nigeria throughout the Caribbean and the United States. So that's something we're going to have a little discussion on later. There's some insurance issues that came into play. There's shipping issues that come into play. The logistics of it all. So it's a broad concept, but they're putting the money behind it, so we need to handle that well. We can get more in details as we network later, but that's what I do. Oh, and I'm also a member of the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce, Clark area. Okay.
And we could go, we have websites in the States, we have some ourselves, we have some in the Netherlands. And our customers rather different than that's why we talk about importing. Okay. And payments are also an important issue, especially after business, right? Through payments. That's payments.
My name is Pastor Vanessa Ellis. And I also am the executive of Taking Sisters to Lunch, Sisters Incorporated, and we are trying to start a business as far as making soaps, natural soaps. That's what I would like to tell you right now.
My business is Global United Network with pastors overseas. I encourage pastors, I work with pastors overseas in Africa, specifically right now, in Nigeria, and Kampala. We at Mokono, Kampala, in Mokono, we have a restaurant, Christian restaurant here. How the people use the resources of the land. And the Christians, and the Christian pastors, how pastors can have a job during the week, whereby they can something to do during the week. They don't have to, some of them say they are pastors, but the pastors on Sundays, and Monday to Friday, there's nothing to do. And there's no source of income. Some of them, no, I don't know that. But something to do, they can use resources of the land. In Kenya, there are some of them that have land, they make use of their own land, they make farming and lifestyles, whereby they buy sheep, they buy a cow, and they milk. There's some milk from this cow, and they sell, so some of them have income. So pastors or church pastors can come together and buy land and do farming and plant some of the produce of the country in their country, where they can have this produce to sell in the market, where they have income. So I work with oversee pastors. Not here for myself. I'm a jack of all trades. I do transportation, I do real estate. So that's what I do. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Princess.
Could you speak a little louder for us, please?
Sorry, my name is Princess. I'm a fashion designer. I just have a bit of business. I'm just started. The name of my designer is Alan Shine. That's all I can say. Thank you.
I'm a public school teacher here. I teach at the Brownsville. I've been teaching for over 20 years. Also, I'm a missionary by calling. I built the first public school library in the history of Nigeria in 2017. I'm the founder and the CEO of Jeremiah and Felicia at the Ritu Foundation. And what we do, we go to remote areas, anywhere in the world, not only in Nigeria. I've been to Puerto Rico, but also in Nigeria. I raise an awareness of lack of good drinking water in the states, your state. Also provided free tutoring companies for less privileged kids. I'm a public school teacher, as I said, but also I'm a public speaker, trained and certified by John Maxwell. What I do for now, I don't get money from it. I don't do it out of the free will. And I would like to go to African countries, with you guys.
You will be coming with us for sure in October. We'll talk about it later.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
That's what I do for now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honored to be here once again. My name is Taiwo Ololade Salvador. I'm from Nigeria. I grew up here though, but moved back home. And I have two things that I focus in Africa, in Nigeria to say.
Could you speak a little louder for us, please?
Education. Education in Africa takes it all. Everything that we are all talking about today starts from that. If education can be sold and oversold in Africa, a lot of things will be much, much easier. So I embark on book clubs all over the community in Nigeria, in Ghana also. We go to different schools, set up book clubs, and teach them how to read and write. Also, our new program, which is affiliated with the Queen Thompson in New York, they're coming to Nigeria to set up the community garden. Many of our kids doesn't even know how to grow anything. They don't know where it comes from, even though Africa is the region, is the motherland for farmers. They don't know. So we are taking them to schools now in conjunction with the Lagos State government. We are we're bringing that community feeling, community togetherness, community work, all that stuff in one shot. So my NGO is focused on that in Lagos and other parts of Africa.
Okay.
The symptoms range broadly. Some people have very mild or minimal symptoms, and other people have more severe disease. Here in New York at Montefiore, over the last few weeks, we've treated a lot of patients with COVID-19. And our patients tell us that in the beginning, their symptoms are sometimes vague. So things like feeling very tired, having muscle aches. Some people report losing their sense of taste and smell, and others report a sore throat early on in their illness. As things progress, some people will get a fever or a cough. A lot of people feel short of breath, and some people actually get a stomach upset partway through their illness. For those people who are going to have a more severe course, that tends to happen around the 1 week mark. And so I do recommend that for those who think they have COVID-19 or know that they have COVID-19, to pay extra attention to your symptoms around that time. And if you have any concerns, then you should contact your healthcare provider to make sure that you don't need to go to a hospital.
Welcome again. Friends, with me today is the South African Deputy Ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador Zolisa Mabongo, who has taken a couple of minutes out to speak to us and to tell us in a few words his mission here, some of the things he's emphasizing, and what's happening in the Southern African region. Thank you for coming, Ambassador.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to you. My main message today is to say that Africa is open for business. There is a lot of work that is happening, done by African countries. Our governments are trying to make sure that we create the conducive environment for businesses to operate easily. This means that African American business people should come to Africa and find good conditions to make a business, because ultimately it is business that creates jobs. It is not necessarily governments that create jobs directly. That is the first point that I want to make. The second point is that we are focusing a lot on integrating our economies. Individually, African economies are small. It is only when we work together as African countries in an integrated way that we can have the opportunity to create economies of scale, to create bigger markets. For example, where I come from South Africa. South Africa is surrounded by about 16 other countries, our neighboring countries. But most of these are small countries. But when we come together, we become a market of up to 300 million, which is the same size as the United States. So if we can have this as one market of 300 million people, it will create more business opportunities. It will create more employment for young people. We have got a very big problem of youth unemployment. So we need to create these opportunities. The third message that I would like to convey is basically that now we are moving into the green economy, the green technologies. We're moving into the fourth industrial revolution. And our countries are creating this base from which businesses can come and operate and take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution. In America and in other countries, they are already talking about the fifth generation 5G technologies. We want to bring this into the African continent. If we are able to do that, we are then able also to create smart cities of the new world, because our urbanization in Africa cannot take place in the same way that it did in places like America, like Europe, many decades ago and many centuries ago. It has got to be a new urbanization that takes advantage of the new technologies, the new directions that the world is going through. So in essence, therefore, what we are saying is that there are opportunities out there. We're inviting African Americans through these forums, conferences such as this, to come and visit African countries, see for themselves. There are opportunities in agriculture, there are opportunities in energy, there are opportunities in the water sector, there are opportunities in mining. In many African countries, the mining is still not yet developed, and we have got so many minerals. Our continent is endowed with these minerals. So we want, therefore, to invite African Americans through these conferences and others to come and take up the opportunities.
Okay, excellent. Thank you
so
much, Ambassador, for taking time out to speak with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for
a
very wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
In the case of South Africa, that is one of the main focus of the government now. It's linked to the education system. We have got lots of young people that are educated, but they are unemployed, because there's a misalignment between the education that they have and the skills that are required by the modern economy. So that means in order to get these young people into jobs, into entrepreneurship, you need to do new programs. You need to do new programs that are beyond the normal schooling. And that is what our government is focusing on at the moment. So there are a lot of programs that are out there for young people. But my point is that we need to do them at a regional, maybe sub-regional level, continental level. Southern Africa, I mean, if you look at Southern Africa, we have about 16 countries that are part of the Southern African Development Community. But individually, these are quite small countries. But when we come together as a sub-region, we are talking about a market of about close to 300 million people, almost the size of the United States. So I think if we can be able to come together as the countries, the governments, at a regional level and say we are doing a regional youth program, incubation, giving young people access to skills, to the internet, transportation costs, for example. One of the things that is happening around Johannesburg is that the transportation costs for young people going to the cities to look for jobs, they are getting subsidized, because you can have a university degree, but you're sitting in Soweto, the cost of you going every day to Johannesburg to look for jobs is quite prohibitive. So there are things that are happening, but I think my point is that we need to do them as sub-regions. The same in West Africa. If it's a program of ECOWAS, it reaches more people. But there are these things that are happening, but I think they are small scale because they are focusing on individual countries.
And when I talk African, I'm not just talking about one country. I'm talking about nations that have come together like a Jewish nation. Let us look at the Jews and use them as an example. The Jews have stayed relevant. And why have they stayed relevant? Because they formed a Jewish nation. So the Jewish man in Ethiopia, the Jewish man in Israel, the Jewish man in America is first and foremost a Jewish man before you.
Yes.
But I'm trying to say this. If I offend you by what I'm about to say, forgive me. Sometimes we behave like we're ashamed of our heritage. We become successful and then we move away from our heritage. And we want to be who we are not. And rather than invest in developing who we are, we begin to try to be somebody else. How can we move forward as a people if we continue like that? It is important that you take a step back, you look inward, and you decide, do I want the African nation to be a nation to be respected? Because if the African nation is a successful nation, then you will be respected because you're an African. I wouldn't say more than that, but I think I've set the pace of what is to come. Think outside the box. Ask questions so that you can know where there's a need and attempt. It takes a lot of guts to save up money and say you're taking it somewhere you're not familiar with. Go through the proper channels. Don't just meet someone on the streets and say, I am going to invest in Africa. You meet this person, you're talking, and then they go, oh, there's this business opportunity in Africa. And you go, oh, yeah, I'm interested in Africa. It's not that way. Because if I were to arrive in the Americas today, I wouldn't meet a man on the streets and go into business with him. There are proper channels of doing business